What comes around goes around. Turnabout is fair play. You reap what you sow. And there's many other idioms as you could possibly think of for the story that applies to the story I'm about to read. The Trump administration refers to New York Attorney General Letitia James for potential prosecution over alleged mortgage fraud. Suck it, bitch. Yeah, that's what you get. Is lawfare a good thing? No, it's not. But they did it to Trump for years. Now it's time to get a taste of their own medicine. We're never going to win if we keep constantly trying to go, well, we have the moral high ground. We should never do any of the bad things they do to us, ever, ever, ever. No, sometimes I think that when somebody punches you in the face, you need to punch him right the fuck back. The moral high ground is great, but, not always come on, it's not always it's not always the right course of action. Sometimes you need to get down in the dirt with your enemies and just, be as fucking, frankly, as evil as they are sometimes. Shout out to the New York Post. New York Attorney General Letitia James, who infamously declared that no one is above the law when she was targeting Donald Trump, was hit with a federal criminal referral for instances of alleged mortgage fraud on Tuesday, according to a letter obtained by the Post. Federal Housing Finance Agency Director William Pulte, I don't know how you pronounce that, sent the missive to Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy AG Todd Blanche, alleging that James had falsified records to get home loans for a property in Virginia that she claimed was her principal residence in 2023 while still serving as New York State prosecutor. This occurred in late August 2023, weeks before James began her civil fraud trial against the Trump Organization for overinflating the value of many of its properties, which ended in a $454 million judgment. $454 million. Ridiculous. Asinine. Quote, Miss James was the sitting Attorney General of New York and is required by law to have her primary residence in the state of New York, even though her mortgage applications list her intent to have the Norfolk, Virginia property as her primary home, the letter stated. It appears Miss James' property and mortgage-related misrepresentations may have continued to her recent 2024 Norfolk, Virginia property purchase in order to secure a lower interest rate and more favorable loan terms. Yes, if you lie on a loan, that is fraud. Simple as. In February 2001, James purchased a 5-family dwelling in Brooklyn and has consistently misrepresented the same property as only having 4 units in both building permit applications and numerous mortgage documents and applications, the letter noted. Pult attached. See, that's throwing me off. Pult or Pulte. I'm not sure. Let's just go with Pulte because it's easier to say than Pult. Pulte attached several documents also showing that James purchased another property with her father as a co-signer, but falsely listed the pair as husband and wife in 1983 and 2000. While this was a long time ago, it raises serious concerns about the validity of Miss James's representation on mortgage applications, he wrote. So basically, this is alleging that she is guilty of all the same shit that she accused Donald Trump of doing. Well, not all the same, because he overinflated the value of his property. She was just lying on documents in order to get more favorable loans. But she's essentially committing a similar class of crime. Mortgage fraud. Quote, Attorney General James is focused every single day on protecting New Yorkers, especially as this administration weaponizes the federal government against the rule of law and the Constitution. She will not be intimidated by bullies, no matter who they are, a spokesman for her office said in a statement. Don't you just love how they always say that? This administration weaponizes the federal government against the rule of law and the Constitution. What the fuck did Biden do? We don't have to say imagine if the roles were reversed, because the roles literally were reversed a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The roles were reversed for 4 straight years. The letter referenced earlier media reports about James purportedly falsifying her resident status to get a lower mortgage rate in Virginia and misrepresenting her 5-unit residence in Brooklyn, which were first reported by the outlet White Collar Fraud. James granted power of attorney to Shamise Thompson Hairston. Yeah, Hairston, I guess. Yeah, Shamise Thompson Hairston, a relative, to sign an August 17th, 2023 document authorizing the purchase of the first property, according to legal filings reported by the outlet. She secured a $218,780 mortgage to do so. Loans secured by the latter property could have reduced her mortgage interest rate by as much as 1% and had lower monthly payments under the federal home affordable modification program, since it was listed as containing just 4 units, according to Pulte. Miss James, quote, Miss James, for both properties listed above, appears to have falsified records in order to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms, he told Bondi and Blanche. Yeah, I guess this is the whole thing. So yeah, by all means, track down this New York Post article if you wish to read this. I'm not going to go over it here because look at that. I ain't reading all that shit. This could amount to criminal charges, including wire fraud, mail fraud, bank fraud, and false statements to a financial institution, among others, Pulte added. The documents Pulte included in his criminal referral, quote, are quite damaging. George Washington University law professor and Post columnist Jonathan Turley told Fox News host Laura Ingraham Tuesday night. Quote, these are misleading statements, he said, on the Ingraham angle. Either it's your principal residence or it's not. Either you're married to your father or he's your father. Oh, at least with this one, it's, literally it just seems to be like fraud. At least like it's not like with Ilhan Omar, who it's, did she, you know, did she marry her brother just to get him a green card in the United States, or did she marry him because, incest? Who knows? But at least this one, it probably seems fairly verifiable that this was literally just fraud. Turley also described it as perfectly crushing that James would face criminal allegations similar to those she brought against Trump and his family. Quote, this person who prosecuted Trump for everything short of ripping a label off a mattress, and among and among the charges that were brought in New York in just the civil but the criminal case. I think there was supposed to be a not in there. In not just the civil but the criminal case, was making false or misleading statements to financial institutions, he said. As for James, if we apply the Letitia James standard that she created, there'd be little question here. This seems pretty straightforward. And that's true. If we were to hold Letitia James to the same standard that she held Donald Trump, she would be on trial right now. James professed, make no mistake, no one is above the law, not even the president, when she launched her investigation into the Trump Organization in July 2019. No one is above the law became a refrain of sorts for James throughout the Trump case. She invoked the mantra when she announced her lawsuit against him and consistently deployed it to defend her unprecedented actions against the president. The criminal referral for James dropped the same day her office confirmed it was preliminarily scrutinizing whether insider trading was in play regarding the 90-day pause President Trump put on reciprocal tariffs last week. It is not yet a full-fledged probe, the AG's office told the Post earlier Tuesday. It's not clear if there are specific people or companies that are being reviewed. Trump declared on Truth Social that it was a great time to buy just before the U.S. market opened on April 9th, as indexes were in free fall over tariff uncertainty. He later announced he was postponing customized rates while keeping a 10% baseline duty in effect on most imports. Trump has lashed out at James since returning to the White House, posting on his Truth Social Monday, Letitia James, a totally corrupt politician, should resign from her position as New York State Attorney General immediately. Everyone is trying to make New York great again, And it can never be done with this wacky crook in office, he added. The Justice Department did not immediately respond for a request for comment. So yeah, there you go. You know, like I said, turnabout is fair play. I really do hope that they nail her to the wall on this. Because, if she broke the law, right? No one is above the law, Letitia. No one is above the law. Do you agree, listener, that nobody is above the law? Please, if you don't, or if you do, or if you want to say something completely unrelated, do it in the comments because it's good for the algo. And click that like button. It's real quick. Just do it right now. You specifically, you listening. I'm talking to you. Click that like button. Click it. And follow the links. And sub to all my other channels. Follow me on X. And yeah, throw me a bone, please. Throw it like right at my head. And I promise, I will not throw a bone back at you. Or I will, if you want me to.